Hello, folks. Procida here for BillyBall. It is February 27th, midday. We're in a third or fourth day of a major correction due to the coronavirus. Back a few months ago, I spoke about eventually we're going to have a black swan. I would have thought it would have been some kind of fraud like an Enron or a Madoff. Didn't see the virus thing coming, but as I said, when the market was at 29,000, something always happens and you can never predict what it is, and when it comes fast, and the market generally overreacts, which is what I think is happening. Pray to God that this is just some short-term thing and that as few people get affected as possible, but the reality is the markets are overreacting. But I'll just say one thing about the markets. Keep in mind that just 4 years ago the market was at 16,000 and it went up to 29,000. Now, whether that was rational or whether it was just because the global market had no place to put money and it drove up the value of U.S. stocks because we are the greatest country in the world, I don't know. But when you're looking at your portfolio, if you take money off the table today at 25,000, you still made a lot of money compared to where you were 4 years ago at 16,000. So that's my take on the stock market. Again, my prayers go out that this thing goes away and there's a cure or it's contained, and we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, it will have effects on every industry in the country, including ours, construction and real estate, because there are products from overseas, and right now we're gauging how that's going to affect us. So when we're going to talk about real estate today, and our 30,000 viewers last month's episode said I was a little bit rambling because I was talking about the environment and all my Christmas presents everybody sent me and how much garbage was generated by all the FedEx trucks showing up at my house. And frankly, I had an argument with somebody running for Congress, and I said, if you don't put a big tax on delivered packaging, then all we're going to be left with is vacant stores and Amazon. So think about that, folks. As I said, vote with your pocketbooks. Now on to real estate. So one article that I'm following is banks see uptick in construction loan delinquencies. So this is a point in the market where you got to be careful, because when the market's going up, all construction and developers look like geniuses because rising prices cure construction delays and construction overruns. So when prices go flat, that's when you got to be careful. So if you're an investor, banker, looking at this, you got to be concerned. Good news is we still need more housing. We are so under on housing. Single-family housing starts are half of what they were in the prior decade. In fact, just by example, home starts were 6.8 million over the past 10 years compared to 12.3 million over the prior 10 years. So we still need quality housing, and I call it apple pie, wholesome housing. We don't need skyscrapers and we don't need everything else. But back to construction. Builder Magazine has a quote, a very good quote from one of the builders. A long, loosely managed schedule robs you of profit, and it robs the psyche of your people plus your trades and suppliers. So if you're mismanaging your job, if you're not all over your job right now, you're going to get hurt. So please be careful. And then you always have stuff that you can never predict. Court orders the topping off of a skyscraper. They're looking at, there's a 70-story building being built where the city is now requiring the builder to take off 20 stories. Could you imagine that? Now, by the way, they had a great architect. They had great due diligence, probably. It's a $500 million project that pretty much, probably everybody's going to lose all their money because you got to take 20 stories off of a 50 or 70-story building. Crazy stuff. Now, one other issue. Because I keep hearing this thing on the radio about make 18 to 21% returns by diversifying real estate with our firm. I don't know who the firm is, but you can't make 18 to 21%. I've been doing this 40 years, so you cannot consistently make 18 to 21%. But one of their quotes is, it's a landlord's market. It's always a landlord's market. Well, Folks, that's a whole lot of BS. So if you're invested with anybody who's promising you 18 to 21% consistently, forget about it. One of the headlines that you're going to follow, and it's all over the place, multifamily investors see spread of rent control as the biggest risk to our industry. Cranes says, held back by rent reform, landlords decide it's now too costly to repair units. Well, the reality is, if you don't let a landlord get their money back to renovate the kitchens, the baths, the windows, the hallways, why are they going to put it up? Frankly, our firm, we're staying away from multifamily in the big cities for this very reason. So, what do we like? I've been talking about Camden, one of the poorest neighborhoods in the country, and now an NJ Biz on the cover, Camden striving. Now, we just did a deal in Camden, bought a building for $5.5 million with a client of ours, sold it a year later for $15 million. Camden, Newark, Patterson, just find those places where there is the biggest room for upward growth. And I think you'll do okay, and you'll feel better about yourself because you'll be making money and improving people's quality of life. And improving communities is one of the greatest experiences a real estate developer can have. So if you want to know where I'm going to places like Patterson and Camden and Trenton and Newark. So I practice what you preach, right? We got to make this world a better place, and the real estate business can do that. We did it in the South Bronx. We did it in Harlem. So that's my 10 cents for today. I try to keep these brief. Couple of little things I want to plug. In April at the Turning Point in beautiful Piermont, New York, on the waterfront next to the Tappan Zee Bridge, we will be doing Jamming for a Cause, which is 5 charity events every Thursday night in April. Please come on down to the Turning Point and watch our social media. We'll be promoting that. Also, coming this summer, the Tallman Beach Concert Series. We got 30 concerts, bigger, better bands. The layout's great if you haven't been there. Fire pits, view of the Hudson River and the Tappan Zee. Can't beat it. So I thank all of you, and I thank the 30,000 listeners from last show. Thank you for all your comments. We are going to work in, because a lot of you said you want to ask questions. We're going to work questions into this format soon. So by next episode, you'll be getting some directive on where to submit your questions, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. In the meantime, let's pray this virus goes away. I wish you all peace, love, health, prosperity. And now a word from our sponsors. Procida Funding, of course, and G-Free Gluten-Free Foods, and the Tallman Beach and Pool Club. Thank you for watching. Hi folks, I'm Billy Procida, founder of Procida Funding. I lend money when banks can't or won't. It's no secret today that with all the government regulations, it's getting harder and harder to get a commercial bank loan. As a private lender, it's different at Procida. There's no red tape or multiple layers of approvals. You'll get the personal attention and the fast response you need. Since 1995, we have financed over $3 billion of real estate projects and businesses. Whether you're a business owner or a real estate developer, chances are we can provide you the capital you need when you need it. Our 100-mile fund has financed all kinds of real estate, from hotels to swim clubs, medical offices, service stations, shopping malls, industrial properties, and more. Refi Magazine recently named us Non-Bank Lender of the Year. You'll get the personal response that only a private lender like us can deliver. So if you need $500,000 or more for your commercial real estate or business, skip the bank's red tape and go with a pro. Procida Funding. I'll be the first face you'll see and the only approval you'll need. Call me directly today.
Gluten-free now tastes great. Introducing G-Free Foods with all the goodness and none of the gluten. With G-Free Puff Pastry Sheets, you can make breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. Great tasting and gluten-free. Go to gfree.com for these and other fast and easy gluten-free recipes. And our frozen foods will become family favorites, like chicken pot pie, Frank's in a blanket, and cheeseburger bites. G-Free, gluten-free puff pastry sheets and frozen foods. Available at gfree.com and a store near you.